Hey there, friends. How much vulnerability is okay to have online? Let's chat about this because I know that lots of people that I know have issues with this about being vulnerable, and it's one of the main things that I teach. So I want to have a little bit of clarity, and I want people to know what I mean behind that word, which is a very scary word for lots of people. And so I want to make sure that we know what we are talking about. Good evening, everyone. My name is Monica Perez Burnett, and I am a personal branding specialist for network marketers. It's my job to help you attract your ideal customers instead of pursue them. And so tonight we are going to get into the nitty-gritty when it comes to vulnerability. You know, I talk a lot with my BBBs. In fact, if you are a BBB, go ahead and write it in the comments. I love to see who is here from my crew. And if you are a replay viewer, if you are here live, let me know and where you're coming in from, because I like that too. Hi, Anna and Jody. Nice to see you. So here is the deal, my friends. I talk a lot about being vulnerable. And when you are vulnerable, people get to see the real you. They get to see the not perfect and polished, but the everyday life, the authentic, the real you, basically. And I think that is so important. Why? For a few reasons. One, because when things are too perfect, people cannot put themselves in your shoes. They can't see themselves. It's like, well, yeah, that's good for her or him because they have all these special qualities that I don't have. So I could never be them, right? So we're creating that disconnect right there from the beginning when everything looks perfect. You know, so many people tend to compare themselves on social media because they see these beautiful images and, you know, beautiful families, and it just feels like it's, you know, everything is just so in line, when in reality, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes, honestly. I could show you guys my big pile of laundry that I have over there, yet all you see is my somewhat, you know, nice background here. So when I talk about vulnerability, there are a few things to keep in mind. One is, how far do I go? First of all, you want to go with how comfortable you feel talking about things. When you start talking about things that have not yet, this is my personal opinion. You can take what serves you and throw out what doesn't, okay? But my personal opinion is, you can share things when you feel, you don't have to feel like you're completely healed from something that you may share, but at least you're in the process of healing. You're not still in the thick of it to the point where you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. Okay? And I was just talking with some of my team members tonight about how, you know, there is such a vibe on social media where there's so much negativity that people are looking for others to feel that positivity around them. They look to certain people who are consistently positive to kind of brighten their day, to give them that extra lift that they need when they woke up in a slump or in a difficult situation. And so this is what has happened to me when I have seen people that I look up to be vulnerable, but in a way where they're not giving either a solution for the process that they're going through, or they're not talking about how they're looking forward to getting out of the slump that they're in. And so when I see just the real and the rawness, I understand that. I get it, and it's important. I mean, how many times have I cried here with you guys about different things which have impacted my life in one form or another? That's really good. But if I just stayed there, how would that make you feel? Would you feel less I don't know, less motivated? Would your day be impacted in a positive or a negative way if all I did was talk about the sad and negative parts of my life without giving the ray of hope at the end? It's a really interesting dynamic, and I would love to hear your opinions on it as well. But honestly, when I have a leader that I look up to, it's not about just showing the highlight reel, because the truth is we can talk about things that are going on in our lives. None of us are perfect. We are all, united in our imperfection. I say that a lot. But I also, if I'm looking up to a mentor, I'm looking for someone who is also going to show me how I can get out of the same slump that they have been in or they currently are in. That for me is kind of one of the criterias. If I'm going to stay in a place of despair with that person, it's hard for me to move past that. It like impacts my day. It honestly does. Maybe I'm more on the emotional side, or I don't know what it is, but I feel like as mentors, as people who are authorities online, it's our job to show people not that it's fake, because like I said, we're all going through things. I mean, I could tell you guys about tons of things today that have impacted my life in one way or another, right? That would be vulnerable. But I know that my audience wants to hear from me a positive word, a word that's going to get them over the hump, a word that's going to get them ready for Monday, a word that is going to motivate them to want to be better people than they were yesterday. That is kind of my brand. That is true to who I am. And my ultimate wish is to always be in that state of happiness and all of that, even though that's not, a realistic type of ideal. But the truth is my mentality and the way that I work through things are always moving towards that. And so I think when we're being vulnerable online is really important, especially if we are going to be leaders and mentors, is to show our reality. Don't hide it from people, because like I said, that's our touch point with others. But at the same time, we want to be respectful of the way that we show up online and be respectful of the impact that us sharing our stories can bring to other people. Like if I have situations that I can share where I can educate, I'm totally on that. I think that's super important, super valuable, where, hey, I've been through this difficult situation. This is what I found. So for me, the tips and tricks of a specific situation are super helpful, super valuable, and people will feel just this like very deep connection to you. Jody says, I've been thinking about talking about something I've been through on my business page, and I am out of the thick of it now. I know a year ago, I wouldn't have even thought about talking about it. Exactly. And so like when I gave my list of the things that I've survived, right? It was a long list. I was telling you guys how you should do it. And then when I was reading those off, it just brought up a lot of my past and my history and the hurts and pains that came along with that. It was like, oh my gosh, okay, that is not vulnerable in a negative way because it was in the past. And these are the things that I learned about it. And I've become a better and a stronger person because of this. So you're showing people that it's, that you are a conqueror. You have conquered these situations. If you disagree with me, feel free to let me know in the comments, because I would love to hear different people's opinions. This is just my opinion. I am always drawn to the positive, and I am always drawn to tips and tricks on how to get me over the hump. And ideally, or not ideally, but truthfully, people who are online are searching for things, talking about what's in it for me. That's basically, if we're going to talk reality, that's what it is. People want to know what's in it for me in this. And so if you're sharing your story, they want to know how they are going to be able to either avoid situations get through situations or know that they can get over situations when you are sharing your things that are vulnerable. Tips is what I thought I could do to help others with. Yes. Not the nitty gritty of the issues. And especially also if there are other people, third parties involved that would not be comfortable with you sharing things that are, that are more intimate, make sure you are respectful of that as well, right? Some people don't care. They're like, yeah, we've been through this. No problem. Let's say Jared and I in the past, let's say we had an argument or something and we learned how to get through it. And I was able to share with you guys about that. Well, he wouldn't really care. You know what I mean? So, but there are other people who would. So we need to be very aware and respectful of how it is we are bringing our vulnerability to the table. How is it that we are presenting it? How are we being seen by our audience? What is the intention actually? If we look at this the right way, what is going to be the intention of me sharing this? That's the first question actually I should have started with. What is the intention? Is the intention to help others? Is the intention to bring more, to attract more people to me in the sense that I like drama? Or is it more of the, I am here to help motivate and teach others how to push through these situations in terms of being vulnerable? So intention is everything, and people can pick up that vibe. We all know people in our lives who are very inclined to drama. They're very inclined to be talking about people, talking about themselves, about their circumstances, and it's mostly just filled with negativity. On the other hand, there are many people who are in the exact same situations, but by the end of the conversation, they leave people so inspired to live a better and different life from that person's experience that, they're ready to go. They're ready to just kick life in the butt and say, I'm ready for you. That is very different than just kind of wallowing in the negativity of a situation, if that makes sense. So, my friends, intention is everything. The way that you present yourself is everything and is super, super important. So, I tell my BBBs, you need to be vulnerable. You need to be willing to be vulnerable. But then there is also these criteria that we need to set in place when we are thinking about vulnerability. Is it something, what is my intention at the beginning? Is it something that what I'm sharing, are other people going to be okay with me sharing? Is it something that is going to help propel people forward or just help other people join my pity party? That's the criteria that we are going to be focusing on. And then from there, because the whole objective is leadership. What we are here as online entrepreneurs is we are creating an influence and building an audience. And so while we do that, we want to make sure that we are the best model and example. We're not talking about living fake lives, but we're talking about being an example in our deepest, more intimate things that we pass through in life, to be able to help people along the way, coming a step behind us, showing them how to get past through these things. So I'm glad that makes sense for you, Jody. I think it's really important to talk about because lots of people are like, okay, you want me to be vulnerable? I'm just gonna give it to you all. And while that is fine, I think as long as our intention is to help people with our vulnerability, I think it's the best thing. You're going to have lifelong friends. You're going to have people who trust you immensely and who are going to be faithful followers of you as you continue to build your influence. So I hope this was beneficial to you. I hope it makes you think a little bit about the different things, the different ways that we show up. And I do believe that it's one of the most powerful and impactful ways that we can show ourselves online, just being ourselves, being true to our past history, to the way that we have grown and the way that we can impact others. So if you think you would like to go ahead and share this, please feel free to let your team members know, to let people who maybe have been holding back on this because they don't know quite how to approach it. Feel free. I can't talk tonight. Feel free to share that with them. And also go and follow me on my business page, Monica Perez Burnett Biz. But I hope that you really got that down, right? We're starting with our intention, and we are basing everything on these different criteria that I outlined in this Facebook Live. And I hope that you take it to heart. I hope it helps you think a little bit, and I hope it really motivates you to be more yourself as well. It's not to stop you from being vulnerable. It's just putting some checkpoints in front of your face before you actually go and do that, so that it's the most effective, right? What we want to do when we're online is, in the short amount of time that we're here, to be the most effective and to take people to the ultimate goal that we want in the end. So, all right, guys, have a fabulous night. Take care, get some rest, and I will be seeing you tomorrow with more. Take care, everybody. Bye.